Good evening all. As part of the Facebook Live lecture series of Students Pledge, we introduce today the great Renaissance leader of Kerala, great Ayyangali. Definitely the history of Renaissance movement in Kerala should be added to the history of national Renaissance movement, since it was particularly raised from the downtrodden section in Kerala. Ayyangali is remembered for his daring and inspiring struggle to wipe out caste inequality and to make accessible the fruits of modern education to the downtrodden section. And he also vehemently stood for the rights of downtrodden women. So being political science students, we need to learn more from the life of great Ayyangali. So here I introduce Dr. V. Venugopal, Vice President of Janagiya Prathirodha Samadi, to give a lecture on the life and struggle of Ayyangali.
Dear friends, I am very much happy to present one of the Renaissance leaders of Kerala. Perhaps the movement in Kerala is peculiar in very many ways. Actually, the way Kerala is perceived now by a general approach will be those people will be astounded as to how the state of Kerala looked like about 100 or 150 years back. It was very, very primitive in the sense that the people residing here were different sects, and it was full of, divided into a lot number of castes, subcastes, and people were bound by rules which had been formed through centuries, which were very excruciating, which gave excruciating experiences for all sort of people who are bound in the society. Of course, there was Brahmins, except Vaishyas. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Shudras. This Vaishya was not there in the Kerala set of caste system, caste hierarchy. And below this, there were a lot of people who were considered to be subcastes, chandalas, or panchamas. And their position was very, very sad, actually. They were not even considered by others, upper castes, as dignified human beings. The situation was like that. And those who have come and visited Kerala have expressed it to be a very pathetic state of affairs. But now Kerala is thought to be advanced. It is well educated. It is having a good public health system. It is providing a lot of intellectuals, technical know-how, and other human resources throughout the world. But previously, to form this Kerala state, a very big effort was there, which was done by the pioneers of Renaissance movement, about whom we have to talk today. Generally, these things are not known very much throughout India. And Ayyan Kali, a leader, the most valiant leader, the most able leader, the most exemplary leader from the downtrodden people, he is not being projected or highlighted still now by the very same caste feelings which is even now prevalent in the modern society, which has not gone completely in the process of making up of a democratic society. But Ayyangali is a personality to be known. Actually, in Kerala, this movement for the formation of a man, or democratic movement, so to speak, democratic movement took the shape of movement in the caste, within the caste, for the reformation of the members of the caste, for the fight of the undercaste people for their emancipation, because it was only possible that way then. The most prominent of those Renaissance leaders was Srinarayana Guru, who is a little known nationally. He provided with the slogan, "Get enlightened with knowledge, get strengthened with organization." And he even told this, who was himself not knowing English or science. He exhorted his people, learn English and science. And he told, for man, there is only one caste, one religion, and one God. And also, he told, whatever religion one belongs to, man should be good, that's all. So, an approach to the society with a democratic approach, rising above religion, caste, creed and all. That call was a very great call then, which Kerala produced, and not only Srinarayana Guru, in every caste, so far as the Hindu scene of population is concerned, among other castes also similar leaders rose up. Not only in the very downtrodden section, in upper castes also such people emerged. So generally speaking, Narayana Guru's call to get enlightened with knowledge, to get strengthened with organization, that was taken up and implemented by almost all. The efforts were there in that regard. So we should understand that in Kerala, the highest ideal which came through this previous Renaissance movement was this much. Not that those militant ideals of French Revolution like democracy, fraternity, liberty, that it was taken up very soon by the downtrodden people immediately. But rather, there were leaders, there arose leaders in each and every caste. Because in Kerala type of society, what happened is, it was a very compartmentalized society. You are in a caste means you are within that. You cannot go out of that. You cannot intermingle. You have to live in that. So any amount of progressive step if one is taking, you can take only in that. But these great people, while taking steps to improve the lot of their own brethren in their caste, they also developed broad democratic mentality to associate with the other castes also. So there were some efforts of the leaders of these castes to join together also. There were efforts. Then in Kerala, their Christianity was there since long. Islam came. Those sections of the people also developed their own people, their own leaders, who tried for some improvements of their concepts and all in their religions within. This became the main background in which Kerala developed some democratic atmosphere. Actually, Ayyangali was born in 1863 in southern part of Kerala in Travancore, then Travancore, because Kerala was ruled by Raja, royal rule was there. Feudalism was the prevalent system of economy, and the workers generally, the ordinary workers were downtrodden people. The system was very tight, very unbreakable, and so unbreakable that the lower caste people, they were to obey a lot of obligations given by the system of castes. Why Kerala caste system is different from the caste system prevalent in other parts is its rigidity, its brutality, its inhumanness, and the way it ill-treated the fellow human beings. It was the situation where you cannot, this untouchability is there everywhere and was there everywhere in India. But Kerala soil, this untouchability was very, bizarre, very cruel. Say you cannot go near to any upper caste man. If a downtrodden man happens to be within 60 feet of distance to an upper caste Brahmin, then he has to face a very big punishment. He may have to sometimes lose his life also. Such things. So, under this, and some people, even if they go in sight of an upper caste man, then also it was a very gross disobedience. So, Ayyangali was born to such a caste. What made him very peculiarly respected by all in Kerala now is the lower caste people under this suppression and oppression developed a very mentality which prevented them from being thought of, from their self-respectability. There was nothing like that. They could not think that they are human beings like others. So they had to walk with their heads down, back curved, and they did not have the right to wear good clothes, and they did not even have the right to use the roads used by other caste people. So they had practically no human rights, not to speak of any human right. They were not given the respectability of animals even. That was the situation. So Ayyankali born, and he did not have the opportunity to go to school. If not to school in the traditional way of education also, he did not get nothing. He was illiterate. From his own life experiences he learned and found himself that he should fight for the emancipation of his brethren. And as a young man, he became a symbol of fight. He became very bold. He did not care to anything. Whenever an injustice is done to anybody in his caste, he used to question. He was organized. He was very much influenced by Narayana Guru also. Of course, so he tried to organize. The sense of organization was a new sense of human feelings then, when there was no idea about democracy, democratic living, a feeling of brotherhood and all. So he, taking up the weapon of organization and knowledge, means that he was an extraordinary man in those days, and that inspired his youngsters, youths, very much. Under the leadership of Narayana Guru, actually, for Eravas, an organization was formed, Sri Narayana Dharma Paripalana Sangham, SNDP. And our Ayyankali also tried to form an organization of the lower caste people, particularly Pulayas. Pulaya is the name of the caste in which he belonged. And Sadhu Jana Paripalana Sangham, yes. And it is very much inspiring to see his life. We should understand that the plight of the Pulayas in the then society was very pathetic. But he dared to travel. He dared to ride a cart. Then it was bullock cart, a ornamental bullock cart, which became a history in Kerala, that defying the upper caste intimidations and all. He he and his assistant rode on a bullock cart with head high, with dress which was usually worn only by upper caste people, and with a high dignified face. That was an indication that those people are getting awakened. Then he began to hold some organized movements. he organized a yatra demonstration along with his young colleagues.
Stop it.